Hey, what's up, everybody? Hopefully you guys are all joining in here and able to see this as we go live. YouTube is acting a little bit weird right now, I'm not going to lie. So I'm not sure how many people are going to get the notification simply because I can tell that their servers are having issues. Maybe The Last of Us 2 broke the internet or broke the YouTubes. I don't know. But I do know that when I was checking out some YouTube channels and some things that I was checking out on YouTube beforehand, I couldn't load anything. So I'm going to take it as the issues are there, and Sony and Sony could be to blame. We don't know. I mean, Sony is known to do stuff like that, right? Like the reactions and stuff like that. So yeah. Anyway, I gotta say, I haven't always been a fan of the state of plays, right? I thought some of them were kind of bad or boring or whatever, but this one in particular, I thought they did a really good mix of the of stuff of what people kind of wanted to see. You know what I mean? So what I mean by that is we got a good chance of seeing a good mix of stuff like The Last of Us 2. They did a good mix of that stuff. Then they did some indie stuff. I wasn't really thrilled with the indie stuff or anything like that. Like, that stuff hasn't changed much for me. I'm not huge into that stuff. But at the same time, I understand why they were doing it. And as you guys join in here, please hit the like button, share it out. I would definitely appreciate it. Yeah, you know what? Like I said, I thought it was a very interesting show. Sony really knows how to kind of do things like this, where they actually go out of there and show people how it's done, right? Like, people were looking forward to this. And one of the things that I really, really do enjoy about what Sony does is the fact that they do it right, and they manage to get people hyped up, and then they deliver. So they didn't do an E3 this past year, but at the same time, with an event like this, everybody was looking at it, right? Everybody was thinking about it. Everybody was talking about it all day long for this 20-minute show, and they cut out the BS. You know what I mean? There's no terrible hosts. There's no cringy jokes. There's no cringy guest stars that kind of get thrown under the bus. There's none of that stuff, right? It was realistically just, hey, here's this game, here's this game, here's this game, here's this game. And I really like that format because it cuts down on a lot of the stuff. Like, if Microsoft would do that, I think that their Inside Xbox would be much better received than it actually is. So, unfortunately, it's just one of those things where, Microsoft still hasn't really caught on. They got all these really cringeworthy hosts. And, I mean, if you like that kind of stuff, then I think it's cool. But I thought State of Play was exactly what it needed to be, and I was very happy with kind of what we saw or whatever. So, I really enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? I thought what they did was absolutely incredible. For me personally, I loved it. I thought it was really, really good. And, as far as anyone else, I think that, it really comes down to taste. So they started off showing this indie game that I don't really have any kind of interest for. If you guys didn't know, the Medieval game, that game is actually going to be, you can download a demo for that, I guess, today. So that's cool. I'm going to download that as well. They touched on some VR stuff, including that there is, some VR stuff from Rockstar Games in there right now, which, hey, I'm going to download that as well. I really like that idea that they kind of announce stuff and it's like already available or whatever. I thought that was pretty cool. They announced next month's PlayStation Plus, which I thought was really cool. The fact that it was like The Last of Us remastered, like, get everybody excited, get everybody amped up. That's a really great game, and now everybody has a chance to play it. Also, I think, what was it, MLB The Show 19? Like, that's pretty cool too, getting people excited for that. And I feel like that's something that they should be giving out like every other year anyway, is, those MLB games, because they're the only ones that do it. And then when they ended with The Last of Us stuff, I just thought that was really tremendously well done. Again, Sony has a way of doing this kind of stuff and getting people really amped up and really excited for their future. And that's what gets me excited about the PS5. I know a lot of people don't like to hear it or whatever, but for me personally, I know what you're getting with Sony now, right? It wasn't always like that for me, right? Like, when I was stuck a certain way, it was just like defending Xbox. And when you're doing nothing but defending something all the time, you don't really have much time to enjoy some of the fruits of the labors of other stuff, right? So I would play a game on PlayStation begrudgingly and be like, But it wasn't until later on where you actually got a chance to play it. Like, somebody was pointing that out to me yesterday, like, oh, well, you gave Recore a good review score. Well, I gave a lot of Xbox games a good review score. The difference is like, at that time, you're in a different state of mind. You're like not really spending much time on PlayStation or anywhere else. Like 99% of my time was only on Xbox, and now it's like 10% of the time is on Xbox. So when you start to play these other games, like particularly on the Switch and the PS4, you start to realize that hey, the games just aren't to par, and that's something that Microsoft really has to work on. They sure can, absolutely they can. Like even though we take jokes and poke fun at them a little bit, they can definitely work on things and do better. And maybe Halo is going to be something that really kind of does something great for them. I don't know, but at the same time, I do think that it's just one of those things where I know that Sony's going to deliver, and they tend to deliver like at the best possible time. So I'm very excited to see exactly what they could show. Al Gore says the show was terrible. What are you on about, dude? Did you not see the game of the existence of humankind called The Last of Us 2? You know what I mean? Like, I would love to know. Let's see. State of play may actually help inside Xbox. I don't see how anything could help inside Xbox, to be honest with you guys. Like, to me, it just does not look very good. And you know what I'm saying? There is just one of those things where I feel like that's something that Microsoft can work on or whatever. But at the same time, man, I'm getting all kinds of trouble with my feed right now. I don't know. I might have to do this a little bit later. I was hoping that the feed would fix up, but it's not really fixing up on my end. I don't understand what the deal is with YouTube, but it just does not. It doesn't seem like it's fixing itself very well. Yeah, very interesting right now. Like YouTube is a mess a little bit right now. It's like I can't load anything right now. It's not it's not great. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so I'll keep going as long as I can anyway. But for me, like I said, I think that they're, inside Xboxes always tend to be a little bit cringy. And, I'm not really about like that whole cringe factor. And what is inside? And they already teased what they're going to talk about. So they already told people what they're going to talk about, which is xCloud, which I know so many of you are probably super thrilled to do about that, right? They're going to talk about, let me see, Outer Worlds. They're going to talk about some Game Pass stuff. They're probably going to have some kind of controller or something. I don't know. Just to me, it doesn't look very thrilling or appealing. I'm not really sure. But, wow, this is super bad. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with... man, it's really bad. All right. What do you think of the clear downgrade? What was the clear downgrade? I'm not sure I follow. Let's see. Zero surprise, dude. What do you think was going to happen in Microsoft? Do you think they're actually going to have some kind of surprise for you guys? Like, that's the question I would ask. I know that it's kind of lame or whatever, but yeah, I just like, what surprise are they going to have? You know what I'm saying? I honestly, like, I don't think that they can really sort of have anything. I might have to do this tomorrow because on my end this feed is terrible. So hey, I appreciate it. Yeah, like again, as far as I can tell, the game looked incredibly good. I thought that they did a really good job with the game, and I also just want to point out that I feel like Microsoft is going to have a hard act to follow because people want these big AAA titles, and Microsoft doesn't have any for the foreseeable future. So that's going to be a big problem for them going forward if you think about it, right? What are they going to have to offer? What are they going to do? That's going to be a huge problem for them, and unfortunately, that's something that they're going to have to deal with going to the next generation as well. Anyway, you guys, listen, I was going to do like this big show or whatever, but it doesn't look like YouTube is going to let me do a big show, unfortunately. You know what, TLR9, real quick, I'll probably just delete this video, by the way. What did I think of the Death Stranding custom console? I thought it was okay. I don't think it was great looking, but I do think that it was cool that that Microsoft, or that Sony was out there actually kind of doing something in terms of a custom console. Like, they took a chance with that, as far as I could tell. But Microsoft, the only one that they've done is actually go out there, and if you think about it, okay, so if you think about what Microsoft has done with custom consoles, they haven't really done many. And then they did the Gears one, which I thought looked really, really good. So props to them for that. But when you start to think of what Sony has done, they take chances and they do a lot more of these things. This is really great for collectors. If you even look at the Last of Us 2 Collector's Edition, they have some really cool ones. And I think that that's what a lot of fans are kind of excited about and looking forward to. So hopefully that's something that they can continue to, you know what I mean? Yeah, EDM Gamer, State of Play I thought was fine. I like... you know, I like the fact that they were able to actually sort of show something that get people excited. I think Medieval looks good. I think, you know, I think a lot of that stuff looks really good. So again, I'm very excited by what Microsoft is showing. I am talking about State of Play. Oh, I thought, you know what? I thought seeing the Modern Warfare stuff with the single player stuff, I thought that was really cool. And about time we actually got to see something, you know what I mean, from that. You know, like here's the thing. Remember, I gave Gears a lot of crap for not having a bunch of stuff on display in terms of the campaign, right? And I gave them a lot of crap for that. And when you look at what Microsoft is doing, you know, I just feel like they're not doing the same type of things that Sony are doing in that AAA space. But still, I do like that, you know, we are able to see a good mix of multi-plats and exclusives and smaller stuff. That's what I like about Sony and the State of Play, right? Like these little 20-minute things, I think that's fine. You don't have to drag it out. You don't have to do like a kill room or with zombies or anything like that. You just can, like, you announce the games, you show a little bit of the gameplay or whatever, and there you have it, you know. And I'm a VR fan, so to those people that don't like VR, hey, that sucks for you. But as for me, I really love VR, and then I see that they have these VR games. I see that they have these big AAA exclusives. They have the AA exclusives, like this Medieval game. That was one of my favorite PlayStation 1 games, and so to be able to see it look like that and be able to go back and play that, nostalgia is a hell of a drug, and it's, you know, just an extra little thing. I'm not going to hype it up. You know, see, if that was an Xbox game, Xbox fans would be like, yeah, because they do that to Battletoads, right? And Battletoads is nothing special. I don't think Medieval is anything special, but, you know, I think that it's something cool when you add it into the big AAAs and stuff like that, and the VR games. You know, it's like that good mixture of games, and they do such a good job of that. The variety is there, and, you know, the best part about it is, hey, you don't have to wait, you know, years and years or a year and a half to get the next AAA from Sony. Because again, if you missed it, The Last of Us 2 is actually going to release on what is it, February 21st, 2020. So that's a heck of a date. That's a heck of a good date, and hopefully we can sort of get that pointed out or whatever. You know, I'm very excited to see exactly what they could do. Paranoia says 12 to 15 hours that will never leave you, though. I don't get what that joke is. Got to wait until next gen with Microsoft. These new studios might create some greatness. Hey, maybe you're right, Casper. I'm not going to knock it. You know, hopefully they can. My only point is, when are we going to get these games, A? And B, how long do we have to wait to get them, okay? So I get it that developers work on games, okay? I totally get that. I do. I understand that completely. But with that being said, at what point do us as fans and slash gamers, at what point do we sit there and go, well, you know, if we got to wait till 2024 to get something, kind of what's the point or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, that's just, in my opinion anyway, sort of exactly the problem that we have facing Microsoft, okay? So, hey, cool, I hit refresh on this, and I get the guy with the hammer saying, sorry, something went wrong. So you can tell that there's all kinds of issues with YouTube right now. This is such a bad time for this to happen, too, because I wanted to kind of talk about this stuff in a little bit, but, you know, it's pretty clear. Byron says, come on, crap, that was crap. The only good thing about it was The Last of Us 2, total waste of 20 minutes. Dude, here's the thing. If you did feel like it was a waste of 20 minutes, it's only 20 minutes, right? When you watch Xbox, Inside Xbox, it's usually an hour and a half, and you feel like you've wasted a whole lot more time. So, yeah, I think it's a little bit weird. But at the end of the day, you know, let's just kind of call a spade or whatever. You know, I do feel like, you know, what Microsoft is doing is just not as good or whatever.